Antares has nothing to worry about. Lin Moyu finally understood why he used his own dragon scales to make a scepter of creation. Then give yourself something that is also a dragon scale. Although the dragon scale is a good thing, it also shows from the side that this product is really poor. The things of the small world are despised, and the things of the big world are not brought. No wonder it's not poor. Lin Moyu asked curiously, does an existence at your level not have any storage space? Antares said, of course our dragons also have storage space, but the way of existence is different. My collection is divided into two parts, the most precious part is kept in the dragon's nest, and the other part is carried with me. Lin Moyu pressed, what about these things? In Dragon Ball. Antares said in a muffled voice, seeming a little unhappy. Several Dragon Balls have been found, but a few more are missing. The Dragon Ball that Antares kept in his collection has yet to be retrieved. Lin Moyu took advantage of the situation and asked, I've always wondered, with your ability, how could it be possible that you couldn't find the O2 Dragon Ball, and you still need help from others? Antares shook his head, pretend I don't want to. My Dragon Ball was banned by a bastard, and I can't touch it. Only when someone touches it, the ban will disappear and I can get the Dragon Ball back. And this other person must be the human race who wants your world. That bastard is insidious. The bastard that Antares called, Lin Moyu probably guessed who it was. For thousands of years, Antares has also retrieved some Dragon Balls through the human race through various methods. There were originally a total of 16 Dragon Balls, but 12 have been recovered, and 4 are left in exile. Lin Moyu said, then do you know where your remaining Dragon Balls are? There are still 4 Dragon Balls left, all in the deep space. There is some induction between Antares and Dragon Ball, and the location can be determined. Although its power can also enter the deep space, but because of the existence of the prohibition, it cannot take back the Dragon Ball by itself. Antares complained, originally, in the last era, I had a chance to get back all the Dragon Balls, but those guys are too self-righteous, they are nothing. It can be heard that Antares has a lot of grievances, and the 4 Dragon Balls are very important to it. Lin Moyu said softly, don't worry, I will retrieve the 4 Dragon Balls. The sound is not heavy, but firm. Antares hummed, and did not continue the question, although I am poor and poor, I can still get some materials. It seemed to think of something, its head was raised high, and the thick fog rolled into the sky. Lin Moyu seemed to hear a loud dragon chant, and vaguely saw a gigantic dragon claw protruding from the thick fog, heading for an unknown place. Only a few seconds later, the huge body of the sun was thrown down. Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that it was the corpse of the king of wild beasts. And it is not an ordinary king of wild beasts, even among the kings of wild beasts, it is an extremely powerful existence. Lin Moyu didn't say much, and directly summoned the undead lich. The undead lich comes from the wild beast, but it is not orthodox. This time, I don't know if it is feasible to use the corpse of the king of wild beasts as a material to upgrade it. The result still satisfied Lin Moyu. The undead lich turned into a cloud of black air and surrounded the huge bone of the king of wild beasts, and began to devour it. Antares didn't stop, the thick fog was still rolling, and it protruded out again. The waiting time was a bit long this time, and it took a full minute to wait. Something fell from the sky again. This is a huge boulder, more than 10 meters high, like a hill. This hill-like boulder hit the ground heavily, making a crashing sound like gold and iron. It is obviously a thick hill, but Lin Moyu felt the sharp breath from it. Just looking at it, I feel like my skin is being cut by a sharp knife. Antares said, there are thousands of laws, and so are the elements. This stone is called Jinshi, and it has the law of the golden element. Lin Moyu had never heard of the gold element, and was puzzled, is it the gold one? Antares laughed loudly, yes, not all of them. There are many inheritances in your human race, one of which divides power into 5 elements, which are gold, wood, water, fire, and earth, and gold is one of them. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, how could Lin Moyu not know? In his previous life, he didn't know how many years he heard this classification method. In the world of the previous life, the Chinese civilization has been passed down for thousands of years, and the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire, earth, and 5 elements are constantly described in it. Gold includes not only gold, but all metals in the world, and it also means I am sharp and invincible. Antares said, this gold stone is a mythical material. In the deep space, you can find things of this level. Antares doesn't like this kind of thing. Mythical level, which is what supergods use. At the level that Antares is at, this kind of thing is almost enough to tickle it. But for Lin Moyu it is a good baby. The elementalic family will once again add a new member. Lin Moyu casts summon elementalic with gold stone. The golden stone burst into brilliant golden light and disappeared, and then a golden elemental lich about 2 meters in size appeared in front of him. It is surrounded by the law of the golden element, and it also exudes sharpness. It looks like a sharp sword. Sharp gold lich. Grade, low. Growth limit, supergod level, 6th level. Law aura, gold, give the owner and all summoned objects a golden element law aura, increase physical attack power by 100%, and ignore target defense to a certain extent. This is a halo that directly increases damage, and the effect doesn't look too bad. At this time, the undead lich also completed the devouring, and its aura reached level 94. But its shape really hasn't changed much. It still looks so small. Undead lich. Grade, low. Growth upper limit, supergod level, 1st order. Aura of immortality, add an aura of immortality to the owner and all summoned objects. The aura can withstand 710 fatal damage for the owner or summoned objects, and restore all vitality. Aura cooldown, 1 minute. The attributes of the halo are both expected and somewhat beyond expectations. After this upgrade, the cooling time of the halo has changed from 24 hours to 1 minute. It seems normal to think of the regeneration ability of the King of Wild Beasts. It can only be said that the King of Wild Beasts is too strong, making the undead lich so powerful. After hearing this, Antares couldn't help sighing, it's really good. Lin Moyu also felt that his survivability was enhanced again. It becomes more difficult for others to kill themselves. Putting away the elemental lich, Lin Moyu could feel that there seemed to be something more in the spell star representing, summoning the elemental lich, and it was the elemental lich he had recovered. The elemental lich no longer lives in the lich space, but has entered the magic star. Under the induction of the soul, these liches have turned into insignificant dots, seeming to be sleeping, waiting for their own call at any time. The soul comes to the skill space again, the soul power is still rich, Lin Moyu continues to move the skill star core. The soul power drove straight in, directly wrapped the skill star core closest to him, and dragged it desperately towards the outside. Every skill star core transformed into a spell star can greatly improve one's own strength. Lin Moyu is full of bullies. Antares looked at Lin Moyu with complex eyes, and murmured, I seem to be witnessing the birth of a monster. Transforming skills into spells is something that many races have to go through. Thousands of methods led to the same goal. This is the way to go in the end. Maybe the starting point of the process is not the same, but the end point is almost the same for everyone. It's like a grade, no matter what it was called before, all kinds of names. After the super god is the true god, which is the unified name of all races in the big world. Del planet. Planetary spells. Sorcery stellar. Stellar spells. Antares knows very well that most people have the most magic planets, and their number of magic planets is also limited. No matter who is growing up, he may be able to master many skills, but it is impossible to convert all skills into spells. Many super gods only have 3 or 5 magic planets. If they can transform 10 magic planets, it is already rare. As for the magic star, there may not even be one. Stellar spells are the patent of geniuses. But the stars of a genius's technique are generally only 2 or 3 stars. Antares doesn't know what the big world looks like now. In its memory, being able to have 2 magic stars can be called a genius. The 5 magic stars are the arrogance of heaven. Like Lin Moyu, it can be seen that he will have a dozen or even 20 magic stars. Multi-star spells will also appear. This kind of thing can no longer be described as Tianjiao. In Antares' memory, none of the evildoers in the big world have such a thing, perhaps it is more appropriate to call it a monster. If one day, when all the spells of the brat become star-level spells, I don't know what kind of grand event it will be. Antares thought in his heart, with anticipation in his eyes. It's just that when I think of the suppression of the big world runes, I can't help feeling a little worried. I want to tell you, brat, don't be too proud. There are many dangers in the big world, and if you are too arrogant, you will be in danger. Lin Moyu didn't think about these things, he didn't know what those invincible powerhouses in the big world were like. It's too far away from me, and I don't have the right to think about it. Lin Moyu is very clear about what he has to do now. Keep your feet on the ground and take every step steadily. With his efforts, the skill star core left his birthplace and changed to a more comfortable place. With the injection of soul energy, the skill star core began to emit a dazzling luster, which was more radiant than when it was in the skill space. In the soul world, the stars are burning, and the light falls on this newcomer. The star light jumped a few times, as if saying hello. Antares has been waiting for a long time, waiting for Lin Moyu's soul power to be exhausted. It is easy to do it. Sure enough, within 2 minutes, the long-awaited voice sounded, "Do it." The fog billowed for a while, Antares' head was raised high, and then fell heavily. It actually used its own head as a hammer, and hit Lin Moyu directly. While smashing it, he said, "How about it? The killing method I have newly researched is amazing. Antares' head is bigger than hundreds of Lin Moyu's combined, and I don't know how much it weighs. Anyway, every time it is pressed, Lin Moyu must hang up once, there is no accident." The undead skills were activated again and again, until 4 times later, purple light appeared. Antares also stopped at this moment, waiting for the second time. In Lin Moyu's continuous death, after 3 rounds, the skill star core was finally fed. As the level increases, the soul power becomes stronger and stronger. Before, it took nearly 4 rounds to feed a skill star core. Now 3 rounds are enough. Lin Moyu felt that if he was promoted to another level, he might die for 2 rounds. Antares came to Lin Moyu's soul world as if returning to his own home, staring at the burning skill star core. Boom! Accompanied by an extremely gorgeous explosion, the magic star was born gorgeously from the flames. The small black spots in the flame disappeared quickly after appearing for half a second. Antares fell into the feeling again. Lin Moyu didn't know what it saw, but it must have seen something useful anyway. This kind of deep-level thing, I still can't touch it. Lin Moyu thought that he had just grown up and discovered that there are many secrets in this world. The past of history is buried, and I keep exploring with curiosity. I finally understood what happened in this era, and even came into contact with things from the previous era. But after reaching a higher level, he discovered that there is actually a big world, and the secrets in the big world are many times greater than his own small world. There are too many secrets waiting to be discovered by yourself. In the process of getting along with Antares, a lot of information has been obtained. I have some superficial understanding of the big world. At the same time, Lin Moyu has also discovered that Antares doesn't know much about the big world. The Dragon Clan seems to be too powerful, they don't value those external things, and they don't want to use their brains to understand. They believe in power more, and if there is any problem, it can be solved with one punch. Although all races believe in power, the human race should not be as extreme as the dragon race. This new spell star formed in front of his eyes, leaping out of the flames. The flame was silvery white, and Lin Moyu sensed the faint breath of law, which was the breath of the law of immortality. Then it continued to rotate, and it didn't form a whole body, but flew straight towards the magic spell star. Originally, in the soul world, there was a pair of double star spells composed of Bone Fangs and Bone Prison. Now they welcome new members. The 3 magic stars attract each other, and through the wonderful connection, a strange picture of 3 stars revolving around each other is formed. 3-star spell. Lin Moyu murmured aloud. He had long been prepared for the ability to form a 3-star spell. But when the 3-star spell was really formed, he was still a little excited. I don't know what skill it is. Lin Moyu couldn't wait to check it out. Skeleton armor, fusion 100%, summon bones from the undead world to form armor. The defense of the armor depends on the level of the soul, and the armor can also be used on others. It turned out to be the bone armor skill, but now that I think about it, it has been a long time since I used it. Since the strength has become stronger and stronger, especially after mastering the undead skills, combined with the comprehensive new talent, basically no longer pay attention to defense issues. Especially in the face of powerful opponents, the defensive power of the skeleton armor is somewhat dwarfed by comparison. Even with a talent bonus, a defense of hundreds of thousands of points is not enough. Especially after using the power-gathering skill, his own physique has far exceeded the defense brought by the bone armor. This skill is gradually no longer used. Now it has been transformed into a star-level spell, and it has also formed a 3-star spell with Bone Fang and Bone Prison. I don't know how much it has been enhanced. Mano how, the defense depends on the level of the soul, but how strong the specific defense is not clear. Hey, 3-star spell, not bad. Antares' voice sounded. This guy woke up from the comprehension of the little black spot. Lin Moyu asked, is there any gain this time? It's so-so, it's impossible to get something every time, after all, that thing is a bit high-end. Antares said modestly. Lin Moyu knew from its appearance that there must be nothing to gain. But if you earn something, you must show it off with this guy's character. Lin Moyu didn't expose it. It's okay, there are more than a dozen chances, you should take a look. Antares also looked at the 3 stars that were rotating each other. Did you see that there is no clothes? What? Lin Moyu was puzzled and didn't understand what it was referring to. Antares said, look at the center of the 3 stars, what's there? Center point. Lin Moyu looked carefully, and the perception of the soul was much sharper than the naked eye. Gradually, he saw something unusual. At the heart of Samsung, something unusual seems to be growing. These things, like gas, give Lin Moyu the feeling of being born in the world. Antares said, the benefit of the multi-star spell is not only that the power of the spell will be greatly improved. Because they come from the same source, have the same nature, and even the same law. During the operation of multi-star spells, this nature will be expanded. What you see now is the embodiment of the law of immortality, through which, you can easily comprehend the law of immortality. Then, by mastering the law of immortality, the power of the technique can be further enhanced. The double star technique is just to make the use of the technique more flexible. Starting from 3 stars, every time 1 star is added, the power of the spell will be greatly improved. Now that the 3-star spell has been formed, it stands to reason that the power of the spell should be improved. Unexpectedly, the benefits brought by the 3-star technique are not limited to this. The 3 stars are connected with each other, and in their central position, the law of immortality that was originally wandering in nothingness began to be concentrated. Realized laws are naturally much easier to comprehend than invisible and intangible ones. The reason why the laws of the first echelon and the second echelon are so difficult to understand is because they are invisible and intangible. There are countless strong people in the big world, and there are countless people with high talents in 017. There are still not many who may comprehend the law of the second echelon. You can see how difficult it is. Lin Moyu didn't know which echelon the law of immortality belonged to. But it looks like it shouldn't be too weak. Antares said, it doesn't take a day or 2 to comprehend the law, let's try the power of the spell now. The 3-star spell should be much stronger than before. Good. In the outside world, Antares once again became the best experimental subject. Lin Moyu first cast Bone Prison on it, and with the white light, Bone Fangs burst out and hit Antares. At the same time, Lin Moyu himself also flashed a white light, and a layer of white and transparent armor appeared. 3-star technique linkage. When he uses any of them, he will cast skeleton armor on himself, which is easier than before when he needs to use it by himself. However, Lin Moyu can also control it and not use skeleton armor on himself, and the 3-star linkage is not mandatory, and he, the master, can control it by himself. Feeling the attack power of the spell, Antares said in a low voice, yes, it has indeed improved. Now the attack power of this spell has almost reached the level of 9B. ACDI. Before, this skill was enough to instantly kill existences below level 90, and it could also cause damage to those above level 90. If you want to deal with those above level 93, it's a bit reluctant. Now it is enough to deal with those above level 93, and the power has increased by a large level, at least 10 times more. The improvement was huge, far exceeding Lin Moyu's expectation. Lin Moyu was very satisfied with this, thinking of the bone armor on his body. Try attacking me. Without saying a word, Antares sprayed Lin Moyu with a dragon's breath. The dragon's breath carries the law of the element of fire, causing extremely limited damage to Lin Moyu. It is better to use it as an experiment. The skeleton armor emerged, shining brightly. Then a breath of law appeared, locking on Antares instantly. A bone prison appears on Antares, and bone fangs erupt at the same time. During this time, Lin Moyu did nothing. This all happens passively. Lin Moyu was stunned, and Antares was also stunned. Antares tried several times in disbelief, but the result was the same. As long as it attacks Lin Moyu, it will activate skeleton armor, and at the same time trigger the linkage mechanism of 3-star spells. Bone Prison and Bone Fangs will counterattack simultaneously. As for the power, it depends on the strength of your attack. The stronger Antares' attack is, the stronger the counterattack will be. Hey, you've turned into a hedgehog. Antares was amazed. Now Lin Moyu has really become an untouchable hedgehog. As long as he attacks it, it will immediately attract a counterattack. Lin Moyu was also very surprised. 3-star magic can still play like this. But how strong is the defense of the bone armor? Please give me more strength, don't make me look down on you. Antares snorted, you wait for me. Antares no longer used elemental attacks, but purely used his own power to form a palm and slap Lin Moyu. The skeletal armor gleamed, blocking Antares' attack and counterattacking at the same time. Antares didn't pay attention to the bone armor's counterattack at all, and continued to strengthen the attack. Lin Moyu discovered that when the skeleton armor fights back, it will also trigger the linkage mechanism of the 3-star spell to reset and refresh itself. That said, bone armor can almost always be at its strongest. Will not be shattered by continuous attacks. But in this way, it put a huge pressure on his mental strength. Every counterattack, depending on the strength of the counterattack, will consume a lot of mental power. Fortunately, there is a comprehensive connection talent. Lin Moyu is basically not worried about the problem of mental exhaustion. My innate skills are really interlocking. Just looking at one just feels that it is very powerful and powerful. But when they are combined with each other, it almost forms an unsolvable mechanism. With a soft sound, the skeleton armor finally shattered. Lin Moyu asked, how is it? Antares said, I use pure strength to reach level 96 to break your armor. The defense limit of the skeleton armor is determined according to the level of the soul, but because of the existence of 3-star magic, this defense limit has been raised. Increased from level 94 to level 95. That is to say, it can completely resist the attack of level 95 without any damage. After this test, I already have a number in my heart. Lin Moyu said sincerely, thank you. Antares shook his head, we don't need to say thank you, just say thank you and we'll see each other. Lin Moyu chuckled, there are still many things to trouble you. There are still more than a dozen skill star cores waiting to be moved in the skill space, and there are still a lot of skills waiting for Antares to cooperate with the experiment. And, you need Antares to kill yourself. Without Antares, Lin Moyu knew that it would be impossible for him to create a magic star. The military medal has its own half and Antares' half. Antares laughed and said, I also want to see how strong a monster full of spell stars can be in the end. Lin Moyu nodded, you will see. In the dragon world, the dragon emperor is no longer angry. The imperial city is being expanded, and tens of millions of dragons are still focused outside the imperial city. Although the dragons that Lin Moyu killed were nothing, for the tens of millions of dragons, they were just a drop in the bucket. But the face of the dragon clan has been completely swollen. The news of the dragon clan is not as well informed as that of the abyssal demons, they are not clear about it. Just a few days ago, the abyssal demons were also patronized by Lin Moyu, and several royal cities were also slaughtered. The demons escaped in a hurry and scattered all over the world, only to avoid even greater damage. The blood pool of the ancestor dragon is opened, all dragon kings, and Fan. With the Dragon Emperor's order, a blood column shot straight into the sky in the center of the Dragon Clan Imperial City. A strong smell of blood permeates, enveloping the whole field. The people of the Dragon Clan heard dragon chants one after another, and there were countless phantoms of giant dragons roaring in the blood column. The ancestor dragon blood pool was opened, and the remaining 23 dragon kings in the Dragon Clan all entered the blood pool. The dragon groaned and roared continuously. The Dragon Clan also exploded from this. The ancestral dragon blood pool is open. It has been more than 200 years since the last time the ancestral blood dragon pool was opened. After more than 200 years of accumulation, the ancestral dragon blood pool has finally been opened again, and our dragon clan will surely be able to produce a large number of powerful creatures. Everyone in the Dragon Clan was very excited, and their eyes were full of envy. The ancestral dragon blood pond has an unusual status in their hearts. In their view, as long as they enter the ancestral dragon blood pool, they can become stronger and change sharply. Ordinary dragon kings can at least become medium dragon kings. And the middle dragon king is very likely to evolve into a dragon king. The name ancestral dragon blood pond looks powerful, but in the eyes of Antares, it is just a fart. In fact, the Dragon Emperor himself also knows that the ancestral dragon blood pond is not so magical at all. Of course, he was referring to the ancestral dragon blood pool here, not the one in the ancestral land of the Dragon Clan. The Dragon Emperor built it according to his own guess based on the ancestral dragon blood pool in the ancestral land of the Dragon Clan. Dragons are good at formations, so they set up a large formation in the Imperial City. Let the strong men of the dragon clan of all ages enter the grand formation before they die, and gather the essence of flesh and blood and all their life strength. In the end, it condensed into a pool of blood. This blood pool contains the power of the blood of the dragon clan, which can allow the blood of the dragon clan to evolve. But it also knows that no matter how the hybrid dragon evolves, it is impossible to evolve into a giant dragon. It is the limit for the mixed blood dragon to evolve to this level. If you want to go one step further and become a real giant dragon, you need to enter the real dragon pool to be useful. As for going one step further, becoming a dragon. That's something you can't even dream of. This time Lin Moyu not only slapped the dragon clan hard on the face, but also killed several dragon kings of the dragon clan. Originally, there should be more than 40 dragon kings in the dragon clan, 4 of which are high-level dragon kings. Now there is only one high-level dragon king left, and the middle and low-level dragon kings are only in their early 20s. Nearly half of the dragon emperors died on Lin Moyu. For the dragon clan, the loss of high-end combat power is extremely dangerous. If the abyssal demons come to attack at this time, the dragon clan may repeat the tragedy of thousands of years ago. So the dragon emperor ordered to open the ancestral dragon pool in advance to allow the dragon kings to improve their strength. Even if the number cannot be increased, at least the individual combat power must be increased. If there are a few more high-level dragon kings, it will be a completely different situation. At least there is no need to worry about the sudden attack of the abyss demon. As for Lin Moyu, the dragon emperor has ordered the dragon clan to hide in the Imperial City. Moreover, an unprecedented defensive formation was arranged in the Imperial City. Enough to block the undead army for a while. It is impossible for Lin Moyu to break them one by one again. The dragon world is too closed, and the news is not well informed. If they knew what Lin Moyu had done in the abyss, they would definitely disperse all the dragons, making it impossible to gather in one place again. Zulongchi continues to boil, fresh and soaring to the sky. The sound of the dragon roar became more and more intense, and the power of the dragon king who entered it increased sharply. 2 dragon kings flew out of the ancestral dragon pool, and their bodies were billowing with laws. When I entered, I was still a middle-level dragon king, but in less than a day, I had already become a high-level dragon king, and I knew how to drive the law. After becoming a high-level dragon king, it is meaningless to stay in the ancestral dragon pool, and the power will not increase anymore. The dragon emperor couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he saw that there were 2 more high-ranking dragon kings. The power in the ancestral dragon pool is continuously weakening, a large amount of blood power is absorbed by the dragon kings, and the dragon kings are getting stronger and stronger. The accumulation of more than 200 years was consumed in just over a day. Of the 23 dragon kings, 2 of them have entered the advanced stage, 11 have become middle class, and the strength of the other 10 has also greatly improved. Although the number has decreased by nearly half, the overall strength has not declined much. Standing 100 miles away, Lin Moyu looked at the Imperial City covered in blood. The formation has been activated to protect the Imperial City. The formation not only covered the Imperial City, but also covered the several kilometers outside the Imperial City. I haven't been here for a few days, but the Dragon Clan's movements are quite fast. It seems that they don't know the news from the other side of the abyss at all. Lin Moyu looked at the densely packed dragons in the Imperial City and sneered. If I knew, I'm afraid I would have escaped by now. Antares is right, these hybrid dragons are indeed not smart enough. Lin Moyu looked down at his left shoulder. The purple sergeant badge was extremely dazzling. Especially the 6 purple stars on the badge exudes dignity. 6-star general, the human race has not seen a 6-star general for many years. Doing the math, it should have been nearly 700 years ago. At the beginning, Jiang Yi fought fiercely with 50 demons alone, and almost fell to the ground. At that time, he won the title of 6-star God General. After that there is no more. Dai Huang left. Lin Moyu is enough to be called the number 1 human race in terms of status and combat power. Even if Dai Huang is still there, he can't say that he can be stronger than Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu observed for a while, the undead wings fluttered and flew forward. The power of the soul flows, and Lin Moyu turns from extremely quiet to extremely dynamic. 0. Ask for flowers. The whole person is like lightning, and has appeared outside the Imperial City law in the blink of an eye. Formation reacted immediately and sounded the alarm. The next second, the Dragon Clan people saw Lin Moyu. All of them were frightened. Lin Moyu, he's back again. How dare this guy come? How could he be so courageous? Lord Dragon Emperor, kill him. Warriors of the Dragon Clan, copy the guy, kill this bastard. Kill him first, then enter the human race, and wipe out all the human race. The appearance of Lin Moyu, like the god of death, spread fear to the dragon world. Some people in the Dragon Clan are timid, and when they are frightened by Lin Moyu, their whole bodies go limp. But there are also more dragons, angry and holy days. In the center of the imperial city, the aura of the Dragon Emperor soared into the sky, and the Dragon Emperor flew towards Lin Moyu, roaring in his mouth, "Lin Moyu, you are courting death." The formation beads in its hands glistened. Although the Dragon Emperor was angry, he knew that it was really difficult to kill Lin Moyu. Even with the formation beads, Lin Yu seemed to have a way to escape. However, it is impossible for Lin Moyu to act unscrupulously in the Dragon Clan. Lin Moyu turned a blind eye to these people, and the same to the Dragon Emperor. Taking advantage of the fact that the array beads hadn't worked, he casually pointed at the sky. Tell, undead gaze. Lin Moyu's gaze became extremely cold, with neither killing intent nor vitality. It was like looking at a bunch of dead dragons. In the Imperial City, there are tens of thousands of dragons, so you can push me to level 86. Antares said that after level 86, the method of killing enemies and upgrading will be abandoned. Now Lin Moyu has just reached level 83, and for the remaining 3 levels, Lin Moyu plans to finish the promotion here in one go. An imperial city, tens of millions of dragons, and more than 20 dragon kings are enough. The sky darkened, and the undead world floated in the sky. Accompanied by the silver-white undead flame, the dragon world suddenly turned silver, and there was a touch of grayness in the silver. The sky was pulled apart like a giant curtain, and then a huge eye with a height of 100,000 meters emerged. What kind of skill is this? It's terrifying. How can there be such a terrifying skill? Everyone, don't be afraid. It may be fancy but not useful. We have formation protection. The moment the Dragon Emperor saw the eyes, his heart skipped a beat. It had a bad premonition, and immediately activated the formation beads. The space became viscous, making it difficult for everyone to move. Lin Moyu was also affected and couldn't move, but he didn't seem to care. The voice of the soul sounded, "Dragon Emperor, you are the one who ruined the Dragon Clan for a long time." Soul resounds through heaven and earth. Dragons who can hear the voice of the soul are at least level 85. At this moment, they realized that something seemed to be wrong. The Dragon Emperor's face changed drastically, and he felt that he had done something wrong. At this moment, the entire imperial city was shrouded in formations. In the formation, except for myself, everyone has difficulty moving, and the speed is hundreds or thousands of times slower than usual. It can be said that it is difficult to move. No, he was scaring me. As long as you kill him, even if you can't kill him, as long as you drive him away, nothing will happen. Yes, it must be. Just like the previous few times, as long as you drive him away, everything will be fine. Huanglong was full of thoughts in an instant. He was disturbed by Lin Moyu's soul voice, but he regained his firmness in an instant. After all, he is the Dragon Emperor. After all, he is a half-step super god-level powerhouse, and his will is not so easily shaken. It raised its giant axe and wanted to swing it towards Lin Moyu. At this time, the undead stared at 217 and launched it, and the first target fell on it. The Dragon Emperor let out a muffled snort, as if his soul had been pricked by a needle, and it hurt a little. The movement can't help but slow down. Soul attack. At this moment, his soul was terrified. That giant eye in the air turned out to be a soul attack. If it is a large-scale soul attack, if it is also this intensity. The kind of intensity that can make it even feel pain. Cold sweat gushed out, soaking the whole body in an instant. The Dragon Emperor looked down and saw that the inside and outside of the Imperial City were extremely quiet. The Dragon Clan, who was still clamoring before, fell to the ground one by one at this time. Their eyes were lifeless. Their bodies are intact, but their souls have been obliterated. The eyes of the undead have scanned the space outside the city, and are looking into the city. The space blockade of the formation has no effect on it. Under its watchful eyes, a large number of dragon people are dying silently. The Dragon Emperor couldn't believe how this skill could be so powerful. It suddenly thought of a possibility. Lin Moyu didn't use skills, but spells. It may even be a star-level spell. Only star-level spells can have such great power. Now there are two options before the Dragon Emperor. One is to kill Lin Moyu. Once Lin Moyu dies, the spell will end naturally. The second is the attack technique. Lin Moyu is now controlled by the formation, so he shouldn't be able to release it a second time. Moreover, such a large-scale technique cannot be released at will. Just like a mage's forbidden spell, it always takes time to prepare. Time does not wait for the Dragon Emperor, it made a decision in an instant. Since Lin Moyu dared to come, he must have the confidence to kill him. As long as Lin Moyu can delay for a while, this eye can cause giant damage to the Dragon clan. The Dragon Emperor decided to break through the technique first, and then go back and kill Lin Moyu. It roared, rushed towards the eye of the undead at the fastest speed, and slammed the giant axe out. The power close to the super god level shredded the space, and the huge beam of light bombarded the eyes of the dead with the law of stone. The eye of the undead shook violently, as if it was about to collapse. The Dragon Emperor roared again, and once again slashed out two axes with all his strength. Under its attack, the undead eye exploded into pieces. The Dragon Emperor heaved a sigh of relief, it's finally over. But when it looked at Lin Moyu again, it was shrouded in chill again. Lin Moyu moved his fingers slightly. It looked like it was trembling slightly. The sky darkened again, and the undead world descended for the second time. On the other side of the Imperial City, an Eye of the Dead appeared again. The moment the eyes of the dead appeared, a large number of dragons died again. The Dragon clan is now trapped in the formation, with nowhere to escape. The Dragon Emperor finally understood why Lin Moyu said that he killed the Dragon clan. If it weren't for this formation, the Dragon clan wouldn't have died so miserably. If you can't fight, at least you can escape. It is impossible for Lin Moyu to kill them all. Unlike now, there is nowhere to escape, but to wait for death. The Dragon Emperor rushed over like crazy, swung his huge axe with all his strength, and blasted out the eyes of the undead again. But the sky was still black, and the third eye of the dead appeared. This time it appeared on the other side of the Imperial City, and with its appearance, the Dragon clan people fell down in pieces. The Eye of the Dead cannot be stopped without killing Lin Moyu. The Dragon Emperor was about to go crazy, and it rushed towards Lin Moyu. The Law of Stone broke out in full force, and the Dragon Emperor struck out the strongest blow in his life. Infinitely close to the super god level, the Dragon Emperor believes that even if the Demon Emperor is hit by himself, he will be seriously injured, or even die directly. Facing this blow, Lin Moyu should have fled. Just like the previous few times. But this time, he was disappointed. Lin Moyu didn't run away, and didn't even do anything, just took its blow abruptly. The Law of Stone broke out in an all-round way, and the power of the law crushed Lin Moyu back and forth. The terrifying power tore through the space, tearing it apart like rags. But Lin Moyu stood there motionless like a normal person. The Dragon Emperor saw a hint of sarcasm and indifference in Lin Moyu's eyes. There was a thump in his heart, and it was his blow that killed thousands of dragons. The Dragon Emperor didn't believe in evil, and swung two axes again. Lin Moyu remained silent. Element resistance, fusion 100%, passive spells, self and summon objects are immune to all elemental attacks, and the damage to all elemental laws is doubled. Cooperating with the talent of comprehensive increase, Lin Moyu's defense against the law of elements has been increased by a full 90 times. Coupled with the passive technique of damage transfer, it is also affected by the overall increased talent increase, and the damage is also reduced by 90 times. With the superposition of the two, Lin Moyu's damage to the elemental law has been reduced by a full 8,100 times. Not to mention that the Dragon Emperor is only an attack that is infinitely close to the super god level. Even if it is a real super god level attack, Lin Moyu can easily catch it without getting hurt. The Dragon Emperor's 3 attacks cost the lives of more than tens of thousands of Dragon clan people. The dragon scales all over the Dragon Emperor's body were roaring. It knew it couldn't drag on any longer. Thousands of dragons are dying every second. The Dragon Emperor did not lose his mind, it immediately removed the formation, and at the same time roared, "Run away." Accompanied by the voice of the Dragon Emperor, all the dragon people were dumbfounded. They think that they heard it wrong, and their emperor actually told them to run away. Especially many dragon clans in the city don't know what happened at all. But Lin Moyu has no intention of stopping. The undead army was dispatched collectively, including the Flame Lich, Thunder Lich, and Sharp Gold Lich. 3 halos instantly appeared under the feet of each member of the undead army. The halo contains the Breath of Law. As soon as the undead army appeared, they rushed to the front of the Imperial City at the fastest speed, directly attacking the formation. Under the action of the law of the golden element, the combat effectiveness of the undead army has been further improved. The three halos combined with the onslaught of the 0.1 undead army, the formation of the Imperial City was broken almost instantly. When the formation was shattered, the horror of the halo was fully revealed at this moment. The flames dance, the thunder and lightning roll, all with the breath of law, which can instantly kill all dragons below the god level. Even if it is a god level, it will be severely injured. Even Lin Moyu himself doesn't know the extent of the halo's influence. Anyway, the entire Imperial City is within the influence of the halo. For a while, the flames billowed, and countless dragons were burned to ashes by the flames. Thunder and lightning came out of thin air, and a large number of dragons fell. For a time, there were countless dragon casualties, far exceeding the number killed by the eyes of the undead. The Dragon Emperor saw it furiously, it withdrew the formation, but in the end it seemed like a group of devils had been released from hell. These monsters are so scary. It saw with its own eyes that a level 91 Dragon King was killed amidst flames and lightning. Despair filled the entire Dragon Clan Imperial City. Lin Moyu looked at the Dragon Emperor, and at the same time at the entire Dragon Clan. Whatever you choose is wrong. Lin Moyu's words are like the final sentence, the death penalty for the Dragon Clan. Apart from anger in the eyes of the Dragon Emperor, an emotion called fear emerged for the first time. The fear it creates for Lin Moyu, this human race man who is only level 83, no, just rose to level 84. He turned out to be the one who destroyed the Dragon Clan. Thousands of years ago, even in the face of the joint attack of demons and humans, the dragons only lost the space-time passage to the Yuan battlefield freely. At that time, the demon army also entered the dragon world, and the dragon paid a very heavy price. But in the end it stopped. And after thousands of years of recuperation, the Dragon Clan has become stronger, and they have also become stronger. Why now? He was forced to a dead end by a human race who was only level 84. This is impossible, this is absolutely impossible. The Dragon Emperor let out its signature roar. Unlike the demons, the dragons fled early in the morning. If you want to escape now, it's too late. There is no sympathy, let alone sympathy, in interracial wars. Lin Moyu didn't have any emotions, and just regarded the Dragon Clan as a monster, as a stepping stone for his own upgrade. Lin Moyu looked at the Dragon King, but he didn't attack the Dragon King. He knew O2, unless the Dragon Emperor couldn't bear to fight with him. If the Dragon Emperor wanted to escape, he would definitely not be able to stop him. You are the devil from the deepest level of hell. The Dragon Emperor roared wildly, as if it was the last anger. It held the dragon axe high, and sprayed blood with law on the dragon axe. The dragon axe erupted with an unprecedented bright light, and the formation on the axe was activated. A lazy voice came, "What's the matter?" The Dragon Emperor wailed, "My lord, the mission has failed, and the family is dead." Ha! The voice seemed a little serious. A projection appeared in the formation, and Lin Moyu saw a giant dragon. The whole body of the giant dragon in the projection has a blue and white stone-like color, and its scales are shining, as if they have been carefully polished, like a mirror. Lin Moyu understands that this giant dragon belongs to the stone element dragon, and has mastered the laws to a certain extent. Antares told himself about the internal composition of the Dragon Clan. Although it was only a few words, Lin Moyu also roughly analyzed some useful information from it. I have a certain understanding of the interior of the Dragon Clan. The dragon family is a general term, and its race can be regarded as the structure of a spider web. The core is headed by the Shenlong family, and besides the Shenlong is the Holy Dragon. The Holy Dragon is the second echelon of the Dragon Clan, and its number is higher than that of the Shenlong. In addition to the Holy Dragon, there is the third echelon, which is also the largest number of elemental dragons. The elemental dragons are divided into many branches according to the different elements they control. The last ones are those low-level mixed blood dragons, who are not even recognized. They are just cannon fodder and have a low status. The mixed blood dragon that invaded his own world is a subordinate of the stone elemental dragon. And the Dragon Emperor calls for help through the formation method, which is its superior leader, a giant dragon of the stone element. This is a real dragon, completely different from other mixed blood dragons. Just a projection, Lin Moyu felt threatened. The elemental dragon has a strong ability to manipulate its own elements. The elemental dragons are the weakest, and they are all super god level after adulthood. Even if they don't practice, they can become stronger naturally by eating and sleeping every day. Even though he is immune to elemental attacks and has 8,100 times damage reduction to elemental laws, Lin Moyu still dare not take it lightly. Amid vigilance, Silent Whisper did not stop killing. Every second, a large number of dragons are killed. The undead army cooperates with the eyes of the undead to form a unilateral massacre. The breath of the giant bone dragon ignited a silver-white immortal flame, sweeping across the entire imperial city. The Dragon Emperor quickly explained the situation here with the giant dragon projection. In just a few seconds of talking, tens of thousands of dragons died. This giant stone elemental dragon obviously didn't take the blood dragon's life or death seriously. Maybe for it, the mixed blood dragon is just cannon fodder. No matter how many dead it is not worth it to take a second look. Even it doesn't want to pay attention to the Dragon Emperor. Lin Moyu read a lot of messages from its eyes. After listening to the Dragon Emperor's report, it finally looked at Lin Moyu. Not too far away, he faced Lin Moyu across the array. At this moment, its eyes changed. Lin Moyu read its meaning. Although he killed a mixed blood dragon, he also had a trace of dragon blood. It means that these hybrid dragons can be trampled to death, but others cannot. It has sharp eyes. You stop now, I will keep your family. The sound was like thunder, rolling out. There was arrogance in his words, and he didn't take Lin Moyu seriously. Lin Moyu has been dealing with existences like Antares all day long. To be honest, Lin Moyu doesn't regard it as a great existence like an elemental dragon. Among the dragon clan, the elemental dragon is only the third echelon, and its status is not very high. So what if he is stronger than himself now? If you are polite. The ending won't change either. Lin Moyu didn't speak, just looked at it, without saying a word. I'm really too lazy to talk, and I don't speculate more than half a sentence. How is it possible to stop by yourself? After a few seconds, the stone element dragon felt ignored. Caught death. With a roar of anger, the dragon axe in the Dragon Emperor's hand flew up automatically. It manipulated the dragon axe directly through the array. The dragon axe showed its true power in its hands, which belonged to the power that a super god level weapon should have. The law of stone elements exploded, and the space exploded. The debris space is not stable enough to withstand super god level power. Die. The stone elemental dragon said contemptuously. The dragon axe swung towards Lin Moyu, and the stone elemental law roared towards Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu seemed to see countless huge boulders falling from the sky, rolling towards him from all directions, as if he wanted to grind himself into powder. Every boulder is composed of laws, glowing with blue light, and has a strong personal will. Super God level. 613 Lin Moyu whispered. He has seen super God level power countless times. When Antares killed him before, he used super god level power. Recently Lin Moyu has also seen the power of the true god level, with a powerful aura that can destroy the world. The level of attack in front of him is the super god level, far from the true god level. The law of stone elements also belongs to the category of elemental laws. The laws of the elemental class, plus only super god level attacks. Lin Moyu didn't panic at all, and didn't even bother to dodge. The Dragon Emperor narrowed his eyes suddenly, realizing that something was wrong. The attack landed on Lin Moyu, the law broke out completely, and countless boulder phantoms flashed, smashing into the space. In the area where Lin Moyu is located, the sky collapsed and the earth sank. With a radius of 1 kilometer turned into ruins, Lin Moyu is like an isolated island in the ruins, allowing the surging impact of laws. Although the island is small, it is extremely strong. Lin Moyu stood tall in the impact. With white light flashing on his body, Lin Moyu ignored the stone element measurement. This is impossible. The stone elemental dragon issued an unbelievable question. This tone is almost similar to that of the Dragon Emperor, exactly the same. Really not a family of dragons, do not enter a family. Impossible. It is. Amid doubts, the second wave of attacks struck again. The stone elemental dragon didn't believe that his attack would be ineffective, and quickly launched the second and third waves of attacks. At this moment, white light flashed on Lin Moyu's body, and a layer of armor emerged. Following Lin Moyu's idea, the skeleton armor was suddenly formed. Lin Moyu tried to lock the opponent with his soul, but because of the relationship between the array, the lock failed. But the opponent can lock himself. Obviously it can be done, it can only be said that his soul is not strong enough. That being the case, then leave it to Shufa to lock it. 3-star technique, Bone Armor. The spells are linked. As long as you are attacked, the other 2 spells will automatically explode and lock the enemy automatically. The law of the stone element fell on the body again, and the bone armor shattered in response. It doesn't have a damage reduction of 8,100 times, and the highest bone armor can only block attacks of level 95. In the face of super god level attacks, it is naturally vulnerable. But what Lin Moyu wanted was not its defensive power, but the automatic counterattack ability driven by 3-star magic. The moment the skeleton armor was shattered, mental power was consumed rapidly. At level 84, a full 3.7 million mental power instantly bottomed out. But in less than 0.1 seconds, it was instantly replenished. The full connection is activated, and the spiritual power of all members of the undead army has become Lin Moyu's mental power warehouse. Use it however you want. The mental power was consumed, and Lin Moyu knew that the 3-star technique must launch a counterattack. And it felt a trace of law, penetrated the void from itself, projected along the formation, and found the target. The formation projection suddenly lit up, and the stone elemental dragon at the other end of the projection couldn't help but let out a cry of surprise. You don't need to guess to know that the linkage of the 3-star spell has already fallen on it. Skeleton Prison and Skeleton Fangs span the space, forming a blow on it. It doesn't necessarily hurt it, but at least it can shock it. With Bone Prison and Bone Fangs triggered, Lin Moyu was once again covered with a layer of bone armor. As soon as the white bone armor appeared, it collapsed under the law of stone. Mental power continues to be consumed. In the blink of an eye, the skeleton armor reappeared, and then collapsed in an instant. The 3-star spell linkage mechanism is perfectly triggered, forming a cycle. As long as the opponent keeps attacking and Lin Moyu's mental power is not exhausted, the 3-star spell will not stop. Lin Moyu doesn't even need to worry about the whole process, it's all done automatically. Lin Moyu found that he really became a hedgehog. Antares was right. Although one's own attack can't hurt the opponent, at least it can make the opponent feel sick. Sure enough, the stone elemental dragon in the projection showed an angry expression. Its eyes are as uncomfortable as eating a pile of shit. Multi-star technique. Its vision is not comparable to that of the Dragon Emperor, and it recognized this multi-star spell at a glance. If it weren't for the multi-star spell, it would be impossible for Lin Moyu to attack it. With the sound, its attack finally stopped. Bone armor no longer takes hits, and no longer retaliates. The Dragon Emperor hadn't heard of the multi-star spell, so he didn't understand what happened. In its eyes, the giant stone elemental dragon on the upper layer of its head no longer attacked. Grown-ups. The Dragon Emperor watched more and more dragons being slaughtered, feeling extremely anxious. Shut up. The giant stone elemental dragon let out a heavy drink, scaring the Dragon Emperor so much that he dared not speak out. At this moment, the projection of the formation became several times larger, and the elemental dragon seemed to emerge from the formation of the forest. Lin Moyu's eyes tightened slightly. Does this guy want to come over? Then it saw a huge claw protruding from the formation. As soon as the claw left the formation, the surrounding space collapsed, revealing a dark and deep void. There are turbulent currents of energy flying in the void. Its power is too strong, and the debris space can't bear it at all. It came over with one claw, and it already caused the space to collapse. If its real body enters here, the entire fragment space will collapse. Fortunately, it also knew this. The real body didn't come in, only a paw came over. Lin Moyu felt that he was locked in, and a sense of danger emerged spontaneously. This claw can kill itself. Lin Moyu believes in his own feelings very much, there is no mistake. The undead wings are vibrating behind, ready to cut off the soul lock at any time. At this time, a dragon chant suddenly sounded in the air, "Go back." Antares' voice descended from the sky through the space with a majestic aura. The giant claw that had just protruded trembled violently, and retracted at an astonishing speed. In that way, it was like a thief who was caught and revealed himself, shrunk as fast as he wanted. Grown-ups. The Dragon Emperor was stunned. What happened? It recognized that voice, which came from the most mysterious existence in the ancient battlefield. It's just that I didn't expect that this mysterious existence would be so strong. Aren't they all dragons? In its understanding, Antares is also a dragon. No matter how strong he is, how strong can he be in this world? It is estimated that it is a super god level, and it is definitely not as good as his own high-ranking dragon. From the looks of it, that doesn't seem to be the case. The stone elemental dragon reappeared in the array projection, its eyes filled with horror. My lord, is this your world? It doesn't seem so sure, would like to confirm. Antares' voice sounded, you have no right to know. At this time, Antares' aura was even stronger, like a billowing thunder, surrounding the formation. The giant stone elemental dragon became even more frightened. Its whole body was trembling. This was the suppression from the bloodline. It was the suppression formed by the upper dragon clan, and it was difficult to resist. There is too much difference in level and strength between the two sides. The stone elemental dragon responded tremblingly, Cancer. The formation disappeared, and the dragon axe completely dimmed. The dragon emperor was stunned and stood there dumbfounded, not knowing what to do. It was holding the giant dragon axe blankly, its whole body was trembling. No matter how stupid it is, it understands one thing at this moment. This invasion was doomed to fail from the very beginning. With Antares, no matter how weak the human race is, the final result will not change. It doesn't know why Antares is here. Why did I come to die? Antares seems to have been here a long time ago. As early as when it first became the Dragon Emperor, it received a warning from Antares. At that time, it knew that there was another existence in this world that it could not compete with. But Antares also told him at that time that as long as he didn't go to the human world, it wouldn't interfere. In fact, he should have understood at that time that Antares was protecting the human race, waiting for the rise of the human race, and destroying himself. I have always been the stepping stone of the human race, not only myself, but also all the dragon races, and this fragmented world is also. Why are you so stupid? Why didn't you understand it at first? The Dragon Emperor's annoyance is useless up to now. It stared blankly at the sky. Wang Hao, my lord, is there any other way for me to go? This sentence is speaking to Antares, and it knows that Antares can hear it. It wants to live, not to die. The demise of the Dragon Clan is doomed, and this fragmented world cannot escape the fate of being devoured. Dragon Clan has become a stepping stone for Lin Moyu. So it also abandoned the Dragon Clan at the last moment, just wanting to find a glimmer of life for itself. A few seconds later, Antares' voice sounded, I'll give you a chance. Help me go to the deep space to find something. If I can bring it back, I will spare your life and send you to the big world. A ray of light fell from the sky and penetrated into the center of the Dragon Emperor's eyebrows. The Dragon Emperor immediately knew what dong he was looking for. He has been to the deep space many times. Although it is dangerous, there is always a way out. If you stay here, you are destined to die in the end. In order to survive, the Dragon Emperor finally decided to fight in the deep space. My lord, I'm going to deep space. After it finished speaking, it turned and left. The background is slightly bleak. Lin Moyu didn't stop the Dragon Emperor. When the Dragon Emperor spoke before, it took several seconds for Antares to respond. During these few seconds, Antares was discussing with Lin Moyu. It did not make this decision alone. For the human race, the Dragon Emperor is certainly the biggest enemy, but as the Dragon Emperor, there are actually not many opportunities to make a move. When it first came, the human race was indeed a huge threat to the human race. At that time, their strength not only far surpassed the human race, but even surpassed the abyssal demons. The dragons attacked the human world several times and massacred the human race, causing the blood of the human race to flow into rivers. Tens of millions of people died under the dragon's butcher's knife. Later, under the leadership of Demon Emperor Lilian, the abyssal demon and the human race came to a silent cooperation. The human race tried their best to stop the Dragon Clan in the Yuan battlefield. But the abyssal demons drove straight in and broke into the dragon world. Although the Dragon Clan is strong, it is not enough to surpass the sum of the two clans. The Dragon Clan was stunned and lost all time and space passages to Yuan battlefield. In the ensuing millennium, the Dragon Clan did not actually have a deep hatred with the human clan, and at most they confronted human clan professionals in the ancient battlefield. But those were all small-scale battles, and each family won and lost. During this period, the Dragon Emperor held a high position and made very few shots. Although it is not like Lilian, it has never killed a human race, but it does not kill many. Lin Moyu knew this, so when Antares discussed with him, Lin Moyu also respected 070 Antares' decision. Antares' voice sounded slowly. Use the waste, maybe there will be surprises. In deep space, there are many areas that are extremely dangerous. Even if it is a half-step supergod like the Dragon Emperor, it is still close to death. Especially where Antares wants him to go, even more so. Antares knew that in all likelihood, this guy would never come back. Lin Moyu said, actually, if he wants to escape, I can't kill him. And I was also afraid that he would jump over the wall after the dog chased him. The result of this is very good. Lin Moyu did have such worries. If the Dragon Emperor wants to escape, there is really no way to stop it with his current ability. If the Dragon Emperor hides, then things will become troublesome. Without the burden of the Dragon Clan, the Dragon Emperor can completely hide in the Yuan battlefield and intercept and kill the human race professionals. Once this is the case, in the Yuan battlefield, the situation of the human race will become extremely dangerous. At present, no one in the entire human race can contend against the Dragon King except himself. And Antares couldn't stop what the Dragon Emperor did on the Yuan battlefield. Antares has its own bottom line, and there are some limitations that Lin Moyu doesn't know. Its bottom line is to protect the human world, and the distant battlefield is not under its protection. By that time, Lin Moyu will also have a headache. So the current result is actually the best result. Lin Moyu chuckled, this guy is so stupid, every choice is wrong. Antares said with disdain, miscellaneous blood dragon, how smart can you be? In the Imperial City, the remaining dragon people saw that their emperor had left, and they had completely abandoned them. The entire Dragon Emperor fell into ashes and completely lost hope. Who would have thought that 1,000 years of silence and 1,000 years of recuperation would end up in exchange for such a result? Everything, because a Lin Moyu appeared in the human race. In the eyes of the Dragon Clan, Lin Moyu is a devil, a terrifying devil from the center of hell. Slaughtering tens of thousands of dragons by one person without even blinking his eyes is nothing if not a devil. You are a devil. The Dragon Clan will not let you go. The three high-ranking Dragon Kings rushed out of the Imperial City with a roar and the law of drumming, and came straight to Lin Moyu. They are making the last resistance. Lin Moyu ignored them, tapped his finger, and Thunder God blasted out. To kill the high-ranking Dragon King, Zhu Shenli is still the best choice. The three high-level Dragon Kings are already the strongest power in the Dragon Clan except the Dragon King. Too bad they're all elemental laws. After smashing the bone armor, Lin Moyu couldn't be hurt at all. The linkage mechanism of the three-star technique was triggered again, and the skeleton prison suddenly appeared on the three Dragon Kings, followed by the skeleton fangs. The three-star spell does not require Lin Moyu to actively use it, it can be triggered automatically, which is very easy to use. The three high-ranking Dragon Kings were affected by the bone prison, and they were instantly stagnant in midair, unable to move for a while. White bones emerged from their bodies, forming a bondage and producing a paralyzing effect. They are struggling, the bone prison is not strong, it can only trap them for a second or two at most. The fangs of the skeleton exploded on their bodies, ACDF, the dragon scales were broken, and blood flowed out, looking very embarrassed. The fangs of the skeleton can't seriously damage them, at most, they can cause some skin trauma. Although the technique is strong, it is still influenced by Lin Moyu himself. Whether it is one's own level or the level of the soul, the power of the spell is limited. Amidst the roar, Zhu Shenli followed one after another. A series of three god-killing thunders exploded in the air and turned into a sea of thunder, engulfing the three high-ranking Dragon Kings. There is no suspense. Under the strong attack of the purple Zhu Shenli, the three high-ranking Dragon Kings were blown into charred corpses and fell from the air. The Dragon Clan in the Imperial City fell into despair. Some dragons fled through the teleportation props, and more dragons fled in all directions. Thousands of dragons were completely defeated at this moment. There are too many dragons. With an army of 300,000 undead and 1,300 skeleton dragons, it is impossible for Lin Moyu to kill them all. Among them, the three auras of the elemental lich played a huge role. A large number of dragons died under the halo of law. After this battle, the Dragon Clan was completely defeated, which is nothing to worry about. With the collapse of the Dragon Clan and the cooperation of Lilian, the status of the human clan has been completely stabilized. The rest can be done step by step, and under normal circumstances there will be no accidents. The killing continued, and the eyes of the undead swept across, staring at the entire Imperial City. The corpses in the Imperial City were piled up like a mountain, and their appearance was unimaginable. Lin Moyu ejected countless flames, which exploded in the air like fireworks and landed on the corpse. The corpse is reborn in flames, becoming the Risen One. The combat power is stronger than before. The reanimated dragon clan after the resurrection obeyed Lin Moyu's order and waved the butcher knife at his own clan. This scene made the remaining dragon people even more desperate. Lin Moyu continued to display his skills, and the number of resurrected people continued to increase. The dragons are fighting less and less, but Lin Moyu is fighting more and more. White brilliance rose from his body again, and Lin Moyu was upgraded again, reaching level 85. In just one day, he went up 2 levels in a row, and the power of the soul increased wildly, forming an overflow. Also after level 85, the speed of upgrading suddenly slowed down. The required experience and required soul power have increased significantly. It was several times slower than before. Every 5 levels, the speed of upgrading will decrease a lot. But level 85 seems a bit unusual, at least 4 times slower all of a sudden. Lin Moyu felt that when his soul reached level 85, it suddenly doubled in strength. As the soul becomes stronger, the demand for soul power will naturally increase, and the upgrade will naturally slow down. It is said that upgrading from level 85 to level 86 is difficult and takes a lot of time, so it is true. After feeling it carefully, Lin Moyu finally understood. Why is level 85 the threshold? Many people will be stuck at this level for a long time. The demand has become higher, and it is natural for the upgrade to slow down while the speed of acquisition remains the same. It's just that the span of this level is a bit too big, which makes it hard to accept for a while. There is even a risk of losing hope and motivation. It can be regarded as a small test. Level 85 is a small test. The test is will, patience, and faith. Suddenly increasing the upgrade requirements by 4 or 5 times may take 6 times, 7 times, or even 10 times the time. Originally, it might take half a year to upgrade to one level, but now it may take several years. Such a sudden change will catch many people off guard and is difficult to accept. But once you stick to it, the benefits are great. No matter from the soul, will and other aspects, you will get invisible promotion. Lay a solid foundation for the road ahead. Lin Moyu wanted to understand this truth. The strength of the soul has more than doubled, and the substantial increase in the power of the soul is to prepare for the next road. There must be a reason for Antares not to use the current method to upgrade after level 86. Lin Moyu has seen a lot of preparations, but he really hasn't seen those top professionals who are close to the god level, and they have become dungeons in the world. It's not that they no longer fight monsters, but that the frequency of them has decreased. According to this analysis, after level 86, there should be another upgrade method, which is more suitable for them. In any case, let's go over the threshold of level 85 to 86 first. What is difficult for others is not difficult for Lin Moyu, it just takes more effort. Ability, Resurrection of the Dead. The silver-white undead flame continued to explode like fireworks. A large number of dead dragons were resurrected and became resurrected. They rushed in all directions, chasing and killing those dragons who had fled. Lin Moyu's eyes were calm. Whether those dragon people who had fled could survive in the end depends on their own luck. The battle in the Imperial City is coming to an end. There are still hundreds of thousands of dragon people who have not escaped. They huddled together and used one castle after another in the Imperial City to carry out their final resistance. The eyes of the undead swept across the Imperial City over and over again, like plowing the ground, looking inside and out of the entire Imperial City. Until half a day later, there was no more movement in the Imperial City. In the Dragon World, the battle in Hucheng finally came to an end. In this battle, more than 2 million dragons were slaughtered. Lin Moyu has risen from level 83 to level 85, and there is still a gap between level 86 and level 86. The battle in the Imperial City is over, but the battle in the Dragon World is not over. Lin Moyu is still constantly using his skills to resurrect more resurrected people and let them hunt down the fleeing dragons. The same is true for the undead army. They also spread out, as if entering the ranks of chasing and killing. Lin Moyu watched as he patrolled the sky above the Dragon Imperial City, where the fireworks were brilliant. A large number of resurrected people flew away from the Imperial City and flew in all directions. There are constantly information jumping out, improving the experience. Lin Moyu can feel that there is a steady stream of soul power, drilling into his soul world through the illusory space. These soul powers are constantly stabilizing the soul world and improving the soul power. It took another half a day, and even the corpses inside and outside the Imperial City no longer existed. All the strong dragons on the battlefield have become resurrected at this time. They raised their butcher knives and slashed at their former brothers with their backhands. Sometimes, I do feel like a demon. Lin Moyu was talking to himself. When he completely stopped, he felt that he was indeed a little too ruthless and cold. But this is the case with the war between races. There is no victory or defeat, only life and death. As long as you can get the other party, you will never be soft. Antares said that in a war between races in the big world, even an insect in the other world would be crushed to death. It's normal for nothing to grow. World destruction is not an adjective, but a description. It's like in the skill demonstration, the Necromancer destroyed a huge star with one finger. If the star is replaced by a world, it is estimated that in that finger, it will also be destroyed. The battle between the strong is so cruel. Even the reason for the extinction of some world races is only because of the Great War of the Strong. Or a strong person experimenting with his own techniques and rules. In the big world, things like this happen all the time. If you don't want to be wiped out by others, you have to become strong enough. Take fate into your own hands, this is the safest way. Lin Moyu also thinks on the way to become stronger, he can be ruthless. The experience is still increasing. There are more than 2 million resurrected people, plus 300,000 undead army, forming a hunting army, which will start hunting down the escaped dragon people. Among them, millions of dragon people will be hunted down and killed. Whether they can really escape and ascend to heaven depends on their luck. Lin Moyu walked in the Imperial City, which had already been reduced to ruins. The undead flames are burning blazingly. This seemingly temperatureless flame not only burns life, but also burns those bricks, tiles and stone walls. The buildings burned by the undead flames collapsed one after another. They decayed in the flames and turned into powder. When the wind blows again, the powder will fly up and be swept into the sky. Decay seems to be one of the characteristics of the law of immortality. The law of immortality contained in the immortal flame resulted in such a result. This is the Imperial City of the Dragon Clan, and there is the palace of the Dragon Clan inside. It's not the palace where the Dragon Emperor lives, the palace here can be regarded as the Dragon Emperor's residence. There is also a huge warehouse in the city. There are a lot of materials and some dragon items in the warehouse. The material level is not high, basically platinum level and legendary level. There are not many legendary materials. In addition, there are some weapons and equipment, as well as magic crystals. Dragons are good at formations and making magic crystals. They can use arrays to extract energy from materials and items to form large and small magic crystals. Then use the magic crystal to power the formation. It is similar to the alchemist of the human race. Lin Moyu basically doesn't need these things. But for the human race, it is not bad. After finding the location of the warehouse, Lin Moyu entered it, and used the Demon Slayer Tower to take away all the contents inside, leaving nothing behind. Then Lin Moyu left the Imperial City and flew towards the Dragon Emperor Palace. There is also a treasure house in the Dragon Emperor Palace, which contains the collection of the Dragon Emperor. It is impossible for the Dragon Emperor to take all of them away, and there will always be some left behind. Dragons all have the habit of collecting treasures, Antares is like this, Shenlong, Holy Dragon and Giant Dragon are all like this. Even the Blood Dragon is no exception. In the Dragon Emperor's palace, the building was already empty. Not long after the teleportation array finished its operation, the Dragon Emperor had already left, and it went to the deep space through the teleportation array. Most of the things in the warehouse were taken away, and some relatively poor ones remained. Lin Moyu also took all of them away. The fragmented world is still a little barren, most of these things come from ancient battlefields. After all, the Dragon Clan has been closed for thousands of years, and there are not many good things to get. Lin Moyu admired the Dragon Emperor's palace, which was rough and exquisite. What surprised him the most was that the Dragon Emperor's throne was actually made of pure gold, which looked golden and a bit dusty. Compared with the exquisiteness in the Demon Emperor's palace, there is a huge difference. The furnishings in the Demon Emperor's palace are like art, but here, it's more like the home of a nouveau riche. Lin Moyu asked through the dragon's scales, what was it like when you were in the dragon's palace? Antares said, it's been too long, I don't remember. How could I not remember? Probably because I didn't want to say it. Lin Moyu didn't ask further. It wouldn't be possible to make a dragon seat out of gold, right? FK off, I'm so tasteless. I use star gold. Do you know what star gold is? It's a god-level material. Antares yelled suddenly, and suddenly shut up again. It realized that it seemed that it had slipped up again. An inadvertent sentence from Lin Moyu got some information from Antares. God King level. ... It should be stronger than the true God level. After the super God level is the true God level, then the true God level will be followed by the God King level. Between the two, will there be any special grades? I don't know. Antares has shut his mouth and stopped talking about being fat. Lin Moyu didn't ask. This guy is so mysterious. In fact, in his opinion, there is nothing to say about this. So what if you know? Is it possible that you can still hit yourself? My heart has been tempered long ago. How could it be possible to be hit? I just don't know what level those invincible powerhouses are. What level is Antares? Invincible Strong is a title, not a specific level of realm. Lin Moyu still doesn't know what kind of person can be called an invincible powerhouse. In the future, I will always know. Lin Moyu left the Dragon Emperor Palace and flew slowly in the Dragon World. It was the first time for him to appreciate the Dragon World carefully. The Dragon Emperor Palace and Imperial City are in the center of the Dragon World, and belong to the area with the best environment. The peripheral elements are separated from each other, and a large number of elements are rushing towards the center, converging, and finally forming a balance. There are various elements in this area, and it feels similar to the human world. And the area independently occupied by various elements in the periphery is poorer than here. The fragmented world is like this. The environment is much harsher, it is not a complete world, the law is missing, and various situations are possible. When the world I am in swallows up the two fragmented worlds of Dragon Clan and Abyss, I don't know what kind of changes will happen to the environment. However, it is conceivable that after devouring the two fragmented worlds, his own world should become stronger and more complete. Now that what should be done has been done, Lin Moyu began to replenish the undead army. From level 83 to level 85, the total number of undead army has increased from 310,000 to 350,000. The gap of 50,000 required Lin Moyu to call for supplements. When Lin Moyu's whole body glowed with white light, after more than a day of waiting, the upgrade was finally completed. After a rough calculation, at least nearly 1 million dragon people were hunted down to death. Lin Moyu finally stopped. Let the rest be done by others. Blood debt should not be paid by me alone. This is the debt of the entire human race, and it should be repaid by the entire human race. Lin Moyu has his own plans and ideas, which are firm and will not be moved by external objects. Now the Dragon Clan has been completely disabled, and there is not a single Dragon King class left, and all of them are dead. Although there are still millions of dragon people left, there are even more human professionals. And there are god-level powerhouses in the human race. Under the leadership of the god-level powerhouses, the dragon race can be completely wiped out without much cost. Lin Moyu did not return to Antares, but returned to the human world, to Bashan Courtyard. During the recent period, I either spent it in killing, or in the process of moving the skill star core. Lin Moyu also felt a little tired. This trace of exhaustion comes from the depths of the soul. He is a person, and he also needs to relax. During the war, you can fight to the death day and night without retreating. But when resting, Lin Moyu also hopes to have a good rest. The smell of Bashan Courtyard is still the same. The tea fragrance wafted in the air, and Lin Moyu smelled the familiar smell, and felt most of the exhaustion in his mind suddenly dissipated. Teacher, I'm back. As usual, Lin Moyu walked into Bashan Courtyard. As usual, Meng Anwen and Bai Yiyuan were drinking tea. Yan Quangsheng is not here. Xiao Yu is back. Bai Yiyuan said loudly. It was obvious that he was very happy. Meng Anwen nodded slightly towards Lin Moyu. As long as Lin Moyu returned safely, that's enough, nothing else is needed. Lin Moyu went to add tea to the cups of the two, and then asked, where is Teacher Yan? Bai Yiyuan said, the lunatic went back to the bloody place, and said he was going to use the bloodthirsty python for surgery. Meng Anwen smiled. Don't listen to Lao Bai's nonsense. Lao Yan has some new insights, and he has to verify it. Yan Kuang lives in a bloody place every day of his life, where his soul endures the bloody baptism, where he feels the murderous aura. Yan Quangsheng was also the first among the three to understand the law, and was promoted to level 96 without relying on the wrongway formation. It's not that Yan Guangsheng's talent is so good, in fact, Meng Anwen's talent is better than him. It's all because Yan Guangsheng worked hard enough and worked hard enough. Meng Anwen said to Lin Moyu, "We all know what you did in Dragon Clan and Abyss." Lin Moyu smiled, "This is what I should do. You bear too much alone." Meng Anwen seemed a little distressed. For some reason, Lin Moyu's young face has a trace of vicissitudes. This sense of vicissitudes should not appear at Lin Moyu's age. Lin Moyu is still very young, in his early 20s. But his experience is countless times better than ordinary people. The experience of many people in several lifetimes may not be as rich as that of Lin Moyu. Not to mention what Lin Moyu did for the entire human race. There was tiredness in Lin Moyu's eyes, and Meng Anwen could understand and understand. Meng Anwen sighed softly, "Let's take a rest, if there is anything, we will bear it." Bai Yiyuan also said, "That's right, what are you doing so hard?" Lin Moyu smiled, but did not speak. He released the demon extinguishing tower, and a large amount of supplies flew out of the demon extinguishing tower and landed on the open space. Materials piled up like a mountain, occupying a large area of forest. There are equipment, materials, and everything. Meng Anwen's eyebrows twitched twice, and Bai Yiyuan shouted exaggeratedly, "Are you robbing the treasure house of the Dragon Clan?" They could tell that many of the materials here belonged to the Dragon Clan, and they also carried the breath of the Dragon Clan. Lin Moyu said, "The materials here come from the warehouse of the Dragon Emperor City, and some of them come from the Dragon Emperor Palace." Meng Anwen's eyebrows twitched even more. "Did you go to the Dragon Emperor Palace?" Lin Moyu nodded and told the whole story. This time, both of them were stunned. Unexpectedly, Lin Moyu slaughtered the Imperial City. Even the Dragon Emperor was forced to go into the deep space. Lin Moyu said, "Now there is no Dragon King in the Dragon Clan. I think we humans can enter the Dragon Clan and occupy their world." Without hesitation, Bai Yiyuan patted the table. "Okay, I'm going to mobilize the army now." 5.7. Meng Anwen didn't object to this either. It was indeed time to kill him. Take advantage of his illness to benefit him. Everyone understands this truth. As for the Abyss Demon, because of Lilian's relationship, they will not stop the human race, so you can rest assured. Lin Moyu said, "The next thing is left to the teacher." Meng Anwen said softly, "You have a good rest, we will take care of the rest." Then he sighed again, "I didn't expect that Yuanren, the powerful and obedient Dragon Clan, would end up in this way." Bai Yiyuan said, "This is also very normal, it means that the fist is the last word. As long as the fist is big enough, those guys from the Dragon Clan are nothing. We have been suppressed for so many years, isn't it because our fists are not big enough? Now that Xiaoyu's fist is big enough, the Dragon Clan can only accept death obediently." Meng Anwen asked, "Xiaoyu, do you think we should keep prisoners?" Lin Moyu is categorical and will not stay.